Welcome to part 4 of Let's Play Beneath Nightmare Castle by Peter Darvill-Evans. At the end of the last part I was about to read paragraph 150. Here we go. Cernic is close to panic, but answers your questions. The talisman of Loth is Oiden's gift, he explains. It was both a curse and a blessing for Loth, a leader of our people before we became field ploughers and town dwellers. His skill in battle was equalled by his pride and self-love, and he set up images of himself for worship. Oiden's talisman made him stronger yet in combat. Its light befuddles enemies, especially such hellspawn as infest this castle, but at the cost of Loth's favoured pastime. Never look in a mirror while you wear the talisman, it will destroy you. Speaking of the talisman, I forgot to note that down after the last paragraph, but the last paragraph, or rather in the last paragraph, Cernic gives us the talisman, so I wrote that down after I ended the recording of the last part. Anyway, the Margrave is under the spell of a wizard from Zagula who is restoring life to what remains of the sorcerer Zachas. This wizard wears red robes and inhabits guarded chambers at the end of the corridor below this dungeon. Zachas is alive now, but still sealed in the deeper levels of these tunnels. The only way to reach him is through the wizard's chambers. Cernic pulls away from you and scampers through the open door out of the dungeon hallway. After a few minutes you follow. Turn to 376. There we go. A short corridor leads you to a landing lit by a single cresset. You lean over the balustrade and see the staircase wind steeply down from the corridor and disappear into darkness. From the landing, the corridor continues featurelessly and also disappears into gloom. If you decide to go down the stairs, turn to 300. If you would rather continue straight along the corridor, turn to 40. We are going to go down the stairs and turn to 300. Yeah, 300. Your descent of the stairway is long but uneventful. You emerge at the end of a wide corridor where several other dark flights of steps descend to the same point. Ahead of you, the corridor is a little less dim since it is illuminated by occasional cressets on the stone walls. You walk along the corridor. It bends to the left, then straightens again, and you see that ahead of you it forks into two passages of similar sizes. You draw closer and peer along each one. The left-hand passage is featureless apart from the double doors that you can just make out at its far end. The doors appear to be open, light is streaming out, and you think you can just see a table laden with coloured objects, perhaps food, in the room beyond. The right-hand passage is equally featureless and equally long. It too terminates in a pair of doors which are closed. Two robed warriors stand on guard. Will you slink down the left passage, turn to 252, or the right one, turn to 155? Okay, we are going to slink down the right one and turn to 155. This corridor has many natural recesses in its rock walls. You are able to get quite close to the guards outside the double doors by flitting from cover to cover. However, you are unable to gain much more information. The guards look bored and impatient, but reasonably alert, and you have no way of telling whether there are more soldiers beyond the doors. It would be impossible to rush the guards and dispose of them before they could raise the alarm. You can think of only 4 courses of action. If you decide to emerge from hiding and charge the 2 guardsmen, turn to 71. If you want to march up to them, claim to be acting on instructions from the Margrave and order them to leave their post, turn to 346. If you prefer to slip away back to the entrance to this corridor and await developments, turn to 293. If you want to leave this corridor and instead explore the left-hand passage, turn to 252. Okay, we are going to slip away back to the entrance to this corridor and await developments and turn to 293. There we go. Standing in the shadowed nook of the corridor, you have a view towards the guarded double doors and along the wide corridor that leads back to the stairways. It is from this latter direction that you eventually hear the sound of footsteps. You listen intently. 2 people are approaching, you are sure. One is marching quickly and is much nearer now than the other, who is dragging his feet. You dart from cover and race towards the stairways, looking for another recess from which to spring an ambush. You find one and pull yourself behind a rock outcrop. Just as the first marcher, a brisk southern swordsman, comes into sight. When he draws level with you, you attack. Southern Swordsman, skill 8, stamina 8. If you have the talisman of Loth, its dazzling brilliance will reduce your opponent's skill by 2 points. If you kill him, turn to 126. Okay, so 8, 8, and we reduce his skill by 2 because we have the talisman of Loth. Right. Southern Swordsman. That's a skill 8, but now 6. And 8 for the stamina. Okay. My skill is, as always, 12. Oh, need some more encounter, quote-unquote encounter boxes. There we go. Anyway, 12 to 8. Well, off we go. Right, 8 plus 8 is 16. I get... Oh, no, it's not 8, is it? It's 8 plus 6 is 14. And I got another 8 there, which is 20. So 14 to 20. Doesn't matter anyway. I won the attack round. That's down to 6. 6 plus 9 is 15. I get 24. So 15 to 24. 4. Okay, 6 plus 6 is 12. I get 19. 12 to 19. 6 plus 5 is 11. I get 19. So 11 to 19. That's the end of that. Good. Okay. If you killed him, turn to 126. Off we go. Oh, yeah, I didn't remove the buzzing, did I? 126 before I forget. You are standing over the corpse of the first swordsman when the second comes into sight, pauses, and then charges at you. Southern Swordsman, skill 11, stamina 6. If you are using the talisman of Loth, his skill is reduced by 2 points, so 11, 6, and reduced by 2. So 11 is down to 9, and 6 stamina. It's very rare I have to reduce the skill, but there we go. Okay, another Southern Swordsman, off we go. 9 plus 11 is 20. I get 19, so 20 to 19, and I lose that one. So 20 to 19. Right, that puts my stamina down by 2, so it's down to 21. Whoops. 9 plus 5 is 14. I get 16, so 14 to 16. Down to 4. 9 plus 6 is 15. I get 20, so 15 to 20. 2. Right, 9 plus 7 is 16. I get 18, so 16 to 18. Really does pay to have high skill. Anyway, that's the end of the second Southern Swordsman. So let's remove the buzzing and carry on reading. Okay, if you kill him, you can think of no better plan than to dress yourself in the flowing white robes of one of your slain adversaries and then attempt to bluff your way past the guards in front of the closed double doors at the end of the right-hand branch of the corridor. Moments later, looking far more confident than you feel, you march towards the two guards. To your surprise, they leave their post as soon as they see you approaching. They pass you with the merest grunt of greeting, apparently in a hurry to return to their barracks now that someone has turned up to relieve them. But there's only one relieving two, so surely only one should leave. I don't know. You are glad you had the forethought to conceal the carnage in the corridor. They disappear from view, leaving you in possession of the guard post outside the closed double doors. You have to choose whether you will knock on the doors, turn to 391, or try to sneak through them secretly, turn to 213. Okay, we're going to sneak through them secretly and turn to 213. Okay. Yeah, 213. You push one of the doors and it opens. You step cautiously into a small anteroom. It is sparsely furnished and there is a door on your right and another on your left. You think you can hear voices from beyond the right-hand door. Through which door will you try to go? The left, turn to 387, or the right, turn to 6. Okay, we're going to go through the left door and turn to 387. The door swings open and you are looking into a long storeroom. Boxes and barrels are stacked along the walls and there are quantities of foodstuffs lying on a wooden table. There is another door alongside the one through which you are looking. You enter and examine the contents of the room. Most of the boxes and barrels contain food and there are also some bundles of cloth. If you want to eat some of the available provisions, you find that the food is of excellent quality. Restore up to 4 points of stamina if you need to. Okay, will do. Puts me up to 23 again. If you now decide to try to go through the other door from this room, turn to 115. If you would rather go back out to the anteroom and try the right-hand door from there, turn to 6. Okay, we're going to go through the other door from this room and turn to 115. You have found the inner sanctum of the Zagulan wizard who has enchanted Baron Tholder and called up unspeakable horrors from the depths below Neuburg Keep. The wizard is standing at the far end of the large room, and the thrown-back cowl of the deep red robe reveals the features of a regally beautiful young woman. She is standing in front of a tall mirror, staring at her reflection as she manipulates a small black box. She turns to face you and speaks. You have found me, then. No matter, I am Senya Kaz of Zagula. I will escape from you now and return to finish my work here at a more propitious time. Passing years mean little to me. Take care, beware of my little pet. You suddenly realize that a massive cobweb spans the room. Squatting in it near the ceiling is a spider as large as a horse. Do you walk into the web in the hope that you can force your way through? If so, turn to 89. If you would rather cut a way through with your weapon, turn to 12. And there she is, with a little bat on her head or whatever that is. Okay, we're going to walk into the web in the hope that we can force our way through, and we're going to turn to 89 because of that. Right, 89. Arms over your face, you push through the silvery filaments. You feel them clinging to your skin, and then they disappear. You look around. The web and the spider, both illusions, have gone, and Senya Kaz has turned to face you. She is angry and fearful, and pulls a long knife from the sleeve of her robe. If you have the talisman of Loth and want to reveal it, turn to 357. If you decide to try to talk to the sorceress, turn to 233. If you want to attack her immediately, turn to 160. We are going to attack her immediately, and therefore turn to 160. The illusionist Senya Kaz is an accomplished knife fighter. Senya Kaz, skill 9, stamina 8. If you defeat her, you have earned the thanks of the Margrave and the people of Neuburg. Okay, I'll read it in a moment. Okay, Senya Kaz, skill 9, stamina 8. Senya Kaz, okay. Skill 9, stamina 8. Senya Kaz, 9, 8. There we go. My skill is 12. Off we go. So 9 plus 4 is 13. I get 15. 13 to 15. Down to 6. Okay. 9 plus 11 is 20. I get 19. 20 to 19. I've lost 2 stamina points then. Okay, 9 plus 8 is 17. I get 17 also, so neither of us hurts the other. So 17 to 17. Next. 9 plus 9 is 18. I get 20. So 18 to 20. Down to 4. Okay. 9 plus 6 is 15. I get 22. So 15 to 22. Down to 2. Whoops. 9 plus 9 is 18. I get 15. So 18 to 15. It's a bad omen, pressing the wrong window. So down to 19 for my stamina. Okay, 9 plus 5 is 14. I get 18. So 14 to 18. Down to 0. Okay, remove any buzzing, should there be any. There we go. Okay. If you defeat her, you have earned the thanks of... Right, start again. If you defeat her, you have earned the thanks of the Margrave and the people of Neuburg. The beautiful Zagulan had enthralled Baron Tholder and was the leader of the southern soldiery. However, you have still to discover and destroy the source of the evil and unnatural creatures that plague the town. The tall metal-framed mirror seemed important to Senya Kaz. So did the small black box that you now prize from her lifeless fingers. It is hollow and rattles, but is sealed. If you smash it open, turn to 381. If you inspect its surfaces, turn to 131. Okay, we're going to inspect its surfaces, and therefore turn to 131. Buried in one face of the cubical box is a small metal rod. Etched above and below it are 2 letters, Z and X. Now the rod can be moved forwards and backwards. You decide to experiment. Will you push the rod towards Z, turn to 42, or towards X, turn to 288? Okay, we are going to drink the potion of Berserk Rage here, according to my notes, so let's drink that. So that puts us +4 skill for 1 fight only for the next fight. So used, I'll say. Yeah, drink before a fight, good. Actually, no. Should go there. Right, there we go. Okay, yeah, that puts our skill up to +4, so +4. But it didn't say that it's useless really, because it didn't say. I remember it didn't say that I could put it beyond my initial skill, so it doesn't have any effect on me really. So completely useless. All right. But regardless, we're going to push the rod towards X and turn to 288. You move the rod towards X and watch the mirror. Cloudy shapes form in the glass, and within seconds the mirror's frame contains a swirling mass of colours. You walk up to it, take a deep breath, and step into the rainbow maelstrom. Turn to 335. Now that picture wasn't to do with us, or that paragraph. Here we are. You step out of a mirror and set into a wall of an empty room. The swirling colours behind you are the only source of light, and as the room is large, you can barely make out the only exit, an open doorway in the opposite wall. When the mirror's surface returns to normal, you are left in complete darkness, and you gain the impression that this stone-walled chamber must be deep underground. Straining your eyes, you see that the open doorway is now visible, touched by a pale luminescence, and then through it moves the source of the light, a huge warrior in a complete suit of plate armor and an enclosed helmet. The ghostly light is emanating from his body. It is gleaming through the cracks between the metal plates and streaming through the slats in his visor. His voluminous surcoat reaches to the floor and trails after him. He addresses you in a flat, dull voice. I am Scarlos. Be gone or die. If you have the talisman of Loth and want to reveal it, turn to 27. Otherwise, turn to 91. And there's Scarlos himself. Okay, so we have the talisman of Loth, and we're going to reveal it, and we're going to turn to 27. The dazzling radiance from the talisman floods over the warrior, but it seems to have no effect on him. Far from recoiling in shock, he advances, swinging his broadsword. You leave the talisman exposed. At least its light helps you to see and prepare for combat. If you have the trident of Scarlos, turn to 378. If not, turn to 241. Okay, we do not have the trident of Scarlos. We have the blue spearhead or whatever. So we're going to turn to 241. Now, the words "be gone or die" echo lugubriously from inside the warrior's armor as he attacks. Luminous warrior, skill 11, stamina 14. If you are displaying the talisman of Loth, the warrior's skill is not affected by it. However, it does sap his stamina by 1 point each attack round. If you are fighting with the trident of Scarlos, each wound you inflict will cost your opponent an extra 4 points of stamina, as if you were inhuman. If you kill him, you may go straight to the doorway and look through it, turn to 279, or you can stop to inspect the body, turn to 107. Okay, so Luminous Warrior. And we get to sap his stamina by 1 point, regardless of whether we win or not. So Luminous Warrior, 1114. Off we go. Luminous Warrior, 1114. Let's make some more of these, because we need to. There we go, just in case. I've fought a lot of battles in this book, haven't I, so far? Anyway, 1114. Each attack round, we reduce him by 1. So I'll do that after I finish the attack round. Anyway, my skill is 12, his is 11, off we go. So 11 plus 9 is 20. I get 18, so 20 to 18. Regardless, I reduce it by 1 because of the Talisman of Loth, but I've lost 2 stamina points, so down to 17 for me. Okay, 11 plus 10, great, is 21. I get 23, oh good. So 21 to 23, that was very fortunate dice roll. And that means he's reduced by 2, so 11, and then reduced by another 1 because of the attack round and Talisman of Loth malarkey. So that takes him down to 10. Okay. 11 plus 5 is 16. I get 20. So 16 to 20. Puts him down to 8, and then another 1 because of the Talisman of Loth. Okay. 11 plus 8 is 19. I get 17. So 19 to 17. That reduces him by 1 because I didn't hurt him, but because of the Talisman of Loth. But I'm reduced by 2, so 15 for me. Okay, 11 plus 8 is 19. I get 19 as well, so neither of us hurts the other. But the Talisman of Loth takes 1 point of stamina off him, so he's down to 5. Okay. 11 plus 8 is 19. I get 18, so 19 to 18. Puts him down to 4 only because of the talisman, but I lose another 2 stamina points, so 13 for me. Okay, 11 plus 7 is 18. I get 21. So 18 to 21. That puts him down by, well, 1 first of all. Now, if I'm lucky here, that means I'll be able to, yeah, that means I can get rid of all at once, because he's down to 3 because of the attack round Talisman of Loth thing. So I just need this dice roll to be 12 or less, which it is, guaranteed, although that was an unlucky roll regardless. That's 1 out of 36 probability there. And that's the end of him because of the luck roll. But I do lose a luck point. I did that because this is quite a tricky battle and I've lost a lot of stamina. And I might as well, since he's down to 3. Anyways, that's the end of the Luminous Warrior. Good. Let's get rid of the buzzing, if there is any. Jolly good. Okay. Anyway, so we've killed him. We can either go straight through the doorway or straight to the doorway and look through it, or we can inspect the body. Okay, we're going to go straight to the doorway and look through it and turn to 279. Okay, you look through the open doorway and stare at a slaughterhouse scene that revolts all your senses. The overpowering stench of blood and decaying flesh washes over you. The cavernous chamber is lit by lurid blobs of luminous slime that crawl across the walls. Everywhere there are piles of corpses and bits of corpses. Some half-dismembered creatures are moving, others are not only unidentifiable, they are also wrong, blasphemous, unnatural abominations. And all the time you stand staring in horror, a shrill, tittering voice taunts you. You try to force yourself to listen and to discover the source of the infuriating voice. Turn to 389. Blimey, that's dark. Congratulations, you have found Zachas, the immortal, the invincible, lord of this miserable anthill, and soon to be lord of all Cool. Do you like my little workroom? Come in, come in. You look a healthy specimen, and I can always use an extra pair of hands. The voice trails off into demented giggling. You are sure it comes from near the enormous heap of limbs, some of which are twitching. You step towards the towering pile. I have slept for many centuries, but have forgotten nothing. The descendants of those who imprisoned me here will all die quickly if they grovel for mercy. All will make a useful contribution, however. They are the raw material for my army of conquest. You have probably met some of my creations. Ingenious, are they not? Practice makes perfect, and ever since Senya Kaz woke me, I have followed a program of intensive self-improvement. You have found Zachas at last. His wild-eyed head is nodding at you over the huge pile of limbs. Or can it be? You groan and cover your eyes as you realize that the heap of twitching limbs is Zachas. I'd gathered that already. It begins to scuttle towards you on an assortment of legs. Test your willpower. The Talisman of Loth, if you have it, helps you in your hour of need. Its pure light gives you courage. Add 2 points to your willpower for this test only. If you are successful, turn to 201. If not, turn to 310. Okay, there's Zachas. Okay. Okay, so test our willpower. Our willpower is currently 11. We put it up to 13 just for this. However, it doesn't say whether I can go over my initial. I'm going to make it more difficult because it doesn't say I can go over my initial willpower. So, because my willpower is already at its initial. So I'm going to assume it's not and make it more difficult for myself regardless. I'm not going to put it up to 13. So I'm going to test my willpower. So I need this dice roll to be 11 or lower, which it was. Good, let's remove any buzzing. But I've lost a willpower point, of course. Puts it down to 10. But yeah, because it couldn't go over my initial, so I couldn't make it 13, could I? Anyway, we are successful, so we're turning to 201. And that's the end of the video. So I'll just put on here that my next paragraph is 201, and I will thank you for watching. I think if you fail the willpower, you just take some damage. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Next part should be the final one for Beneath Nightmare Castle, and hope you can join me then. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.